Good morning. Yesterday, Cabinet held its virtual meeting, and amongst the things that we discussed, Cabinet is pleased with the commencement of Phase 2 of South Africa's vaccine rollout program, and that thousands of eligible people have already been vaccinated. Vaccination sites across the country are ready to assist those who have been allocated a vaccination slot, and Cabinet urges South Africans to wait to be invited to the vaccination sites as per the individual slot, and to adhere to the strict health protocols of wearing masks, sanitizing, and social distancing to protect themselves and others. South Africans can check the active vaccination sites nearest to them on https://sacoronavirus.co.za/2021/05012 active-vaccination-sites/. As we prepare South Africa to achieve population immunity, Cabinet is encouraged that over 2 million people have already registered on the COVID-19 electronic vaccination data system, popularly known as EVDS, and that is, you can register yourself on https://vaccine.enrollment.health.gov.za. To ensure that no one is left behind, a number of platforms are available for people to register. Cabinet calls on all those who are 60 and over to register on the EVDS. Family members and friends of persons who are 60 years and older are urged to encourage them and to help them to register. People can also use the WhatsApp to register by sending register with a capital R to 0600 123 456 or through SMS by dialing *134 *832 your ID number and finishes with a hash, and you send. This service is free on all South African mobile networks. People can also register by calling the toll-free hotline number on 0800 029 999. Cabinet further reminded all South Africans of the imminent third wave and reiterated the importance of preventing the transmission of COVID-19 by strictly adhering to the non-pharmaceutical interventions of wearing a mask in public, maintaining a social distance of at least 1.5 meters, and frequently washing hands with soap or water, or using a sanitizer which is 70% alcohol based. Cabinet also welcomed the progress report on the implementation of the presidential employment stimulus, which aims to create new jobs, provide support for livelihoods, and protect existing jobs to vulnerable sectors. The report shows that by end of March 2021, a total of 532,180 people had directly benefited from the program, which has created or retained 422,786 jobs, as well as supported 109,394 livelihoods. A further 164,972 job opportunities are still being processed as part of the Phase 1 of the Employment Stimulus Program, and this will bring the total number of opportunities supported to 694,152. Cabinet also supported the call by leaders at the summit on the financing of African economies held in Paris, France on Tuesday, 18 May 2021, that African states should have access to special drawing rights of at least $1 billion in the International Monetary Fund's reserve funds. The allocation will boost the prospects for a strong and sustainable economic recovery among African nations hit by the COVID-19 pandemic and provide liquidity to the global financial market. The summit affirmed the widely held view that access to vaccines must be expanded to all countries, particularly Africa and all developing countries, and global commitments that vaccines must be treated as a global public good. It also recognized the importance of extensive immunization against COVID-19 as a global public interest. It also committed to ensuring and accelerating equitable access in Africa to safe and affordable vaccines, treatments, and diagnostics through the World Health Organization's Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator, known as ACT-A, and its COVID-19 Vaccines Global Access, known as COVAX facility. Cabinet also reiterated the call made by President Ramaphosa that the support for the temporary waiver of the World Trade Organization's TRIP regulations should be supported by all. Such an intervention will ensure the expanded production of vaccines through the transfer of relevant IPs and technologies for increased production capacity as part of appropriate response to the pandemic. Cabinet also welcomed the handover of 189 hectares of land along with title deeds to 30 black farmers in Tafelkop in the Groblersdal district of Limpopo in Elias Motsoaledi municipality, Sekhukhune district. This is a culmination of the land reform process and part of an ongoing work on the Interministerial Committee on Land Reform to accelerate land reform and redistribution in the country, which is chaired by the Deputy President. The farmers have been successfully farming various agricultural produce for 25 years on this land and supply food stores, school feeding schemes, the Pretoria and Johannesburg fresh produce markets, and they also export some of their produce. On budget votes, Cabinet welcomed the start of budget votes, which allow departments to give a detailed account of their plans and priorities for the year. Parliament, as the representative of the people, holds a robust debate on the budget votes and ensure public funds are used to benefit the public. The budget votes build on the various priorities outlined by His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa during the State of the Nation address in February 2021. They are also informed by the National Development Plan Vision 2030 and the 2019-2024 Medium-Term Strategic Framework. This year, government focuses on growing our economy, boosting economic growth, and creating much-needed jobs. We will specifically be focusing on the 4 critical areas highlighted during the SONA of A, defeating the COVID-19 pandemic, B, accelerating economic recovery, C, implementing economic reforms to create sustainable jobs and drive inclusive growth, and D, fighting corruption and strengthening the capacity of the state. And GCIS will coordinate briefings by the various ministers to brief you on the work that is being done around these 4 themes as we continue to inform South Africans on the work that government is doing to recover the economy of the country. Cabinet joins the Commission for Gender Equality in welcoming the 6 life terms handed down to Mr. Noah Makula, 32 years of age, for the murder of his girlfriend, Ms. Nomzamo Mhlanti, and 5 children. This sends a strong message that all perpetrators of such abhorrent, heinous crimes will face the full might of the law. Cabinet condemned the recent senseless killings in Khayelitsha in the Western Cape and Zandspruit in Gauteng that claimed the lives of 21 people. Cabinet commended police for the quick response in arresting suspects and called on the community to work with the police to make our streets safer for all. Cabinet welcomed the collaboration between local and international law enforcement agencies that resulted in the seizure of drugs in Africa and the Middle East. The operations led by Interpol involved 41 countries and resulted in the seizure of drugs worth nearly 100 million euros. As part of this successful operation, the police in South Africa seized drugs worth around 32 million euros from a fishing vessel and arrested 10 people. On the census, Statistics South Africa, commonly known as Stats SA, will conduct a pilot census in selected areas as a dress rehearsal for the main census to test all systems and processes towards the main census of the country. Registration for the pilot census is open from 17th May to 30 June 2021. Households and institutions which choose to fill the pilot census questionnaire by telephone will receive a call from a Stats SA call center agent. Cabinet encourages households and institutions to register to ensure that they are counted. Citizens are encouraged to visit getcounted.statsa.gov.za to register online. The date for the main census will be announced in due course. And we are requesting that when the calls come through, South Africans should not be scammed and open their homes to criminals. The calls will be only telephonic and there won't be anyone visiting your home until the main census takes place. Government approved the humanitarian assistance to the people of Zimbabwe. This was in response to an appeal made in March 2019 by the Zimbabwean government for the humanitarian assistance following the tropical cyclone Idai that caused severe flooding that destroyed infrastructure and killed people. South Africa, through the African Renaissance and International Cooperation Fund, had pledged 50 million in humanitarian support to Zimbabwe. However, the outbreak of the COVID-19 global pandemic delayed the implementation of the project. The first consignment of 450,000 bags of 12.5 kg maize meal was distributed to be distributed to families in desperate need of food aid was delivered on Africa Day on Tuesday, the 25th of May 2021. This was done with the support of the South African private sector, who donated to make sure that we are able as a country to assist our neighbors from famine and hunger. On Cabinet decisions, Cabinet approved the Youth Month program for 2021 under the theme, The Year of Charlotte Manya Maxeke, Growing Youth Employment for an Inclusive and Transformed Society. Youth Day will be commemorated at the Harry Gwala district in KwaZulu-Natal. The event will include the launch of the Presidential Youth Service and the release of the Integrated Youth Development Strategy 2021-2023, which provides an enabling framework for the growth and development of youth in South Africa. The planned month-long activities in June will commemorate on 1st of June and will take place within the COVID-19 health protocol requirements. And on the progress with the national government intervention in Northwest, Cabinet was briefed on the progress made regarding the national government interventions in the Northwest provincial government under Section 101 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa of 1996. Cabinet was pleased with the great progress in stabilizing the provincial departments that were under administration. The report will be presented to the National Council of Provinces Ad hoc Committee for further processing. The committee will deliberate on this report in its scheduled sitting of 24 June 2021. The Ntshavheni local municipality intervention, Cabinet approved the intervention by national government to resolve the water and sewer challenges faced by the community under the Ntshavheni local municipality in the Sedibeng district in Gauteng. The intervention is in terms of Section 63, subsection 2 of the Water Services Act of 1997, Act number 108. The poor state of governance and financial management at Ntshavheni local municipality has resulted in minimal maintenance of the water and sanitation infrastructure. This has resulted in continuous sewage spillages to surrounding communities and the Vaal River, which pose a serious health hazard to over 120,000 households living around the area. The Department of Water and Sanitation has been directed to oversee this intervention and report back to Cabinet annually. Cabinet further approved the setting up of an IMC that will consider the broad challenges of water facing a number of municipalities. The terms of reference and members of the IMC will be announced in due course. On upcoming events, we are announcing that President Ramaphosa will, on Friday, 28 May 2021, he will host His Excellency President Emmanuel Macron of the Republic of France on a state visit at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. President Macron's visit to South Africa at the invitation of President Ramaphosa is aimed at strengthening the strategic partnership between the two countries, which is substantiated by a number of bilateral agreements in various areas of cooperation. The visit will focus on issues pertaining to global response to COVID-19 and the economic, health, research and manufacturing responses to the current pandemic and beyond. The leaders will also discuss the expansion of mutually beneficial trade and investment opportunities. South Africa is France's largest trading partner in Africa, while France is South Africa's second largest trading partner within the European Union trading bloc. Prime Minister of the Republic of Sudan, Dr. Abdel Hamdok, at the invitation of President Ramaphosa, will undertake a working visit to South Africa on Monday, 17 June 2021. During the visit, the two leaders are expected to discuss modalities to enhance bilateral relations and exchange views on issues facing the continent. Cabinet is inviting South Africans to join the 6th session of the President's Virtual Reading Club on Thursday, 27 May 2021, which is today, from 16:30 to 18:30. The event will take place via Zoom, and interested participants can register to attend the session on www.nrc.org.za. The session will discuss Frantz Fanon's decolonization novel, The Wretched of the Earth. Cabinet urged South Africans to support the culture of reading, as it is a foundational skill on which all other learning is built and creates the opportunity for access to career opportunities. And Cabinet would like to extend its congratulations to the following: Professor Bitika Ntuli, the South African sculptor, poet and writer who won the U2 Award, one of the two People's Choice Awards of the 7th Annual Global Fine Art Awards in Paris, France. The Melrose Arc Gallery in Johannesburg hosted Professor Ntuli's online exhibition of bone sculptures named Azibuyele Emasisweni, Return to the Source. Her Grace Cabinet wished to congratulate Her Grace Bishop Ngarezani Sikwari after being elected the first female bishop of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Southern Africa after 6 decades of only male bishop for the Northern Diocese. The appointment of Bishop Sikwari as head of the church in the Northern Diocese after its history of 503 years since it's founded, and to be the first female, is a symbol of gender equality and transformation within society. Cabinet also wants to congratulate Nolita Fakude after being appointed as the first female president of the Minerals Council of South Africa in its 131 years of history. Cabinet wishes Ms. Fakude, who is also the chairperson of Anglo-American South Africa, everything of the best, with a focus on ensuring that mining contributes positively to being a catalyst for economic growth in our country. Indeed, girls are ruling the world. Cabinet wishes to express its condolences to the families and friends of Mr. Emmanuel Mujalifa Mujakes Matsane, who passed away in a car accident on Sunday, 23rd May 2021 after a performance in Soweto. As a member of the iconic Kwaito group Trompis, he was part of a collective that created a unique musical genre for South Africa. Government also wants to extend condolences to the family and friends of Professor Stan Khumbudzo Mzilinkanta Sangweni, who was 87 years of age, who passed away on Tuesday, 18th May 2021. He dedicated his life to the struggle for liberation and spent 30 years in exile living in various countries. He also served as the acting director of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, and on his return to South Africa, he was appointed as the chairperson of the Public Service Commission, and he executed his work with distinction in that role. The government wants to extend its condolences to the government and the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo following the eruption of Mount Nyiragongo on Saturday, eruption of volcano on Mount Nyiragongo on Saturday, 22 May 2021. At least 15 people are believed to have been killed and thousands displaced by the volcanic eruption. We want to express our sincere condolences on the passing away of Ambassador Ismail Kovadia, the former ambassador to Israel, who passed away on Monday, 24th May 2021. He contributed immensely to the struggle for liberation in South Africa and represented and served our country with distinction during his period of tenure as an ambassador and all other duties he had. On appointments, and all appointments are subject to verification of qualifications and the relevant clearances that are necessary as applicable to the jobs. Cabinet wishes to announce and congratulate Ms. Elizabeth Rulaningwenya as Deputy Director General, Corporate Management at the Department of Tourism, and also congratulate Mrs. Irene Nomalungelo Mpolweni as DG at the Department of Military Veterans, as we continue our march to make sure that women are represented at the highest echelon of public service and serve these countries as equal as they deservedly do and qualify to do so. Thank you. Inkomu Hakens.
Thank you very much, Minister. We will take questions, and I think who's going to direct me, or should we start with the House? There is one in the House. Yes, I've acknowledged.
Minister, e-tolls are a much talked about subject again this morning after an interview on SAFM with a Gauteng MEC for Transport, Mr. Kaito van Bolo. Can you please indicate whether this has served before Cabinet recently, whether any decision has been taken by Cabinet, and if not, when you expect that matter to be dealt with by them?
Thank you. Can we take more questions, so that Minister can take a few?
Thanks, DG. The questions relating to what our journalist is asking. This one's from Anton Meyer from Pretoria FM. It's asking the Minister, it says, did the Minister of Transport, Philip Mbalula, present his e-toll plan to Cabinet like he he promised or told South Africans 3 weeks ago, did the cabinet discuss the e-toll matter at all? And I have another question from Debo Mukomo from SABC. Says, old people over, okay, I think that's the one. I think that's the question. That's the only one.
Okay. Is that all?
Yes, for now. That's all.
Thank you very much, Minister. You are very... There is... Oh, sorry, I didn't see you.
Oh, sorry. Morena Dikika from Newsroom Africa. Minister, has Cabinet discussed anything regarding the issues around the health minister and digital rights? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's about it. I don't know whether we will also come for the last round, as we usually do.
Thank you for the questions. Let me start with the last question around the digital vibes investigations. The SIU are still investigating, and they will issue the report, and it's not in the place of cabinet to discuss matters that are under investigation by any law enforcement agencies. Is the work of the law enforcement agencies that must take its course. But the Minister of Health yesterday held a media briefing that explained his own position and that of the Department of Health, and it's not the place of cabinet to discuss that. Is to allow law enforcement agencies to conclude their investigations and do what is necessary from the outcomes of those investigations. In terms of the question around e-tolls, the Minister of Transport continues to table various reports around e-tolls and continue to engage on what are the possibilities of e-tolls. What I can assure South Africans is that the Cabinet is considering the possibilities of what should happen should e-tolls be scrapped, or what should happen should e-tolls be maintained. What the Minister of the MEC of Gauteng and Transport was communicating, I think, is the position of Gauteng, which is not new. Gauteng has always lobbied for the scrapping of e-tolls, and they've lobbied national government for that, and we continue to say what are the permutations that are, that will enable that, if should that happen, given the financial commitments that have been made with the Gauteng improvement, road improvement program. So it's not new what the MEC has tabled, but there is no decision at cabinet for as we speak today around the scrapping of e-tolls or non-scrapping of e-tolls, and the Minister of Transport continues to engage with all the parties that are relevant, the National Treasury, the Gauteng government, and also continues to update Cabinet on the progress with such engagements and propose various proposals that Cabinet is considering and once considered for the decisions to be made. Thank you.
Minister, we usually allow 2 rounds, so with your permission, I think I'll entertain if there's any other question that is coming from the floor or from the WhatsApp group.
Thanks, DG. We have quite a few now.
Quite a few. Okay, there may be.
I'll start with Paul Beshiato from Bloomberg. Are new or enhanced lockdown restrictions a possibility, and will the President address the nation soon? And I have Debo Mukomo from SABC. Says that all people over the age of 60 are encouraged to register, and some of them have done so. The one I spoke to now, he has 10 days since registration, but hasn't received any confirmation. What is the turnaround time, or how long should one wait? And I have another from Faith Daniels from ENCA. What is the Cabinet's view on the issue around the health minister? I think my colleague has from Newsroom Africa has asked this. It's regarding the digital vibes. I say, so what is the reaction to calls for the minister to step aside while investigations are conducted? And also follow-up questions from Anton Meyer. When can we expect an announcement on e-tolls? That's it for now, DG.
Thank you. There is nothing from the House. I think that's the last round, Minister. I think if you can.
Thank you for those questions. Again, on e-tolls, when Cabinet is ready to take the decision and when all matters have been considered, Cabinet will take the decision and the announcement will be made. And like I've said previously, the Department of Transport continues to work to find the best solution around the e-tolls, and the government of Gauteng continues to lobby national government on the scrapping of e-tolls. I think the question around digital vibes we've already dealt with, and that the minister has articulated his own position around that matter. And in terms of the registration for older people, when you register and you provide a cell phone number, you are immediately notified of the success of your own registration. Maybe the question is about how long does it take between you are registered and receive confirmation and when you get allocated a slot. The South Africans will be aware that we don't have sufficient number of stock of vaccines, and that's why we continue to call for the increased production or the ability or capacity for the country and the continent to produce its own stock vaccines through the waiver of TRIPS at the WTO and the transfer of the relevant technologies to enable that manufacturing, which some countries in the continent have capacity to manufacture, including ourselves, but other countries have the capacity to ramp up, to build capacity quicker to manufacture those vaccines. So given that the Department of Health in various provinces will then, given the allocation they have been provided of vaccines for that day or for that week, they'll then prioritize and invite people for the vaccinations. So it depends on the availability of vaccines and the number of registrations in that province and the allocations the province are doing. As we stand, the provinces and the Department of Health are doing their best to make sure that majority of those who are over 60 years of age are vaccinated before we reach the third wave, to make sure that they have built up some level of immunity before the third wave hits us. And that's why we call on South Africans to also continue to implement the non-pharmaceutical health protocols of keeping ourselves safe by wearing masks, social distancing, and washing our hands. But as soon as the vaccines are enough, everybody will be vaccinated. But we continue to work to ensure that vaccines are released. As you are aware, we were expecting vaccines from J&J, and we could not have access to the vaccines from J&J because of the ongoing investigations by the FDA in the US, and therefore it limiting our ability to move faster on the vaccination program. But we continue to engage with Pfizer, which is another company that is availing vaccines in South Africa, to increase their supplies to South Africa and also to have access to the vaccines through the COVAX schemes and the AVAX schemes. Thank you. The last, I think I forgot the most important issue. As we have announced, as Cabinet has announced, that there is, we are all noticing the numbers as they are going up in terms of infections, and people are starting to notice a tick up in terms of deaths. We are, as Cabinet, discussing and consulting on the measures to make sure we protect South Africans, and a decision will be taken soon after the consultations, and will announce the date at which the President will then host the family meeting, that we can confirm to South Africans that there will be a family meeting soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we've come to the end of this media briefing, unless I'm seeing somebody, Minister, wanting to let's hear you. I hope it's not a repeat.
Thanks, DG. A question from John DeLange from Rapport. Says, was there a firearms amendment bill that proposes the 10-year self-defense as a grounds for obtaining a firearm license approved by Cabinet? Is this government's position on this issue? And from Bonwes Swane from Newsroom Africa, says, whilst we understand that the Cabinet won't comment on ongoing investigation, but certainly this is an important issue. Is Cabinet concerned about these allegations because they are serious, which are concerned with the Minister Kiza? Do you believe stepping aside will allow the process to unfold smoothly? Thank you, DG.
Thank you. That's the last two, Minister.
Thank you for those questions. In the last cabinet statement that was released 2 weeks ago, we communicated that cabinet approved the firearms amendment bill for purposes of public consultation or public comments. You are invited to make your comments on that bill so that the comments can be taken into consideration when we finalize the bill for the processes of submitting to Parliament. And Parliament will also hold its own round of consultation on the same bill. So we, as government, we are putting measures to make sure that we control the proliferation of firearms in the country, and you are welcome to express your own views around that, and those views will be taken into consideration when the final bill is it's approved by cabinet for submission to Parliament, and also you'll have a second bite with Parliament that they will then allow you space to also comment when they do their own public consultations. On the issue again of digital vibes, it's important to reiterate that the Department of Health is not investigating itself. The investigations that are underway are done by law enforcement agencies, and therefore there is no possibility of interference on the investigations. The minister yesterday clarified his own positions in terms of what he is implicated or not implicated on the matter, and the investigative report will then give a picture not only to South Africans but to the department and to the president on the matter. It's not the position of cabinet to express views on ongoing investigations. But furthermore, it's this government's commitment to fight corruption at whatever level it happens, it takes place, and whenever it takes place. And we have said to law enforcement agencies, you must do your work without fear, without favor, without being intimidated. And we would like to give them space to do that work and allow them to conclude their investigations and take the appropriate decisions in terms of prosecution or non-prosecution thereof. And therefore, whether the minister steps aside or does not step aside is not a decision that cabinet will express itself on. It's the discussion that must take place between the minister and the president to the extent of the matter. But any area or any signs or allegations of corruption are viewed in a very dim light by cabinet and the president. And on that matter, that's why the investigations are taking place. Thank you.
We have come to the end of this post-cabinet briefing, and thank you very much to the members of the media, and we stand adjourned. Thanks.